Hi there. Wonderful to be with you once again this week on I Am. It's always good to spend good time with you. Now, last week we talked about, in this specific series, like I say, we are talking about I am and in others. You know, how do I relate to the I am in those around me? And specifically, we started looking at purpose, because purpose and I am is closely related to one another. We are looking at our unique purpose, and in order for you to understand and to pick up on where I'm going and where I've been, it is always better to go and watch all the videos. They're all available on our website on mishka.com. Please go and have a look there, because we started on I am inside of me and who the I am factor is. What is that I am inside of me, and how vital it is for all of us to understand that. And last week, just want to quickly remind you of what we spoke about, and that is that I am is directly linked to my purpose. And in order for me to live out that purpose, I need those people around me. It is very often the people around us that starts to stimulate purpose inside of us. They either show us what we're not, or they show us who we are. Now, you know, there's something about purpose, because it's all good and well we talk about I am, and the way it helps us to understand who I am, and the way it helps us make decisions. But we have to study purpose. We have to understand our purpose. When you understand your purpose in any given situation in life, it is the beginning of success, because it will give you the wisdom to know how to respond and how to act. It will actually show you whether you should be in a place or not. It's one of the most amazing things when we understand our purpose. It will alleviate a lot of problems. You will know, no, it's not for me. Yes, that is for me, you know, because you understand your own purpose. Now, there are a couple of, I almost want to say, examples, or a couple of things that you see about people who understand their purpose. And if I'd like to install that in you today, I hope this is going to make a bit of a difference in you possibly searching, you know, in this journey with me. I think I'd like to stimulate that factor inside of you to say, am I actually in my purpose? Do I know what my purpose is? What am I doing? How am I doing it? And it's always good to go and have a look at people that we can see has actually been there, done that, worn the t-shirt. They give us an example, isn't it? Now, the one person I'd like to refer to today, and if you haven't watched this movie, and I know it's a very old movie, but it's a classic, and I absolutely adore this movie, then it is Chariots of Fire. Now, if you've never watched it before, do yourself a favor. If you have some time, I don't know what kind of movies you like. Obviously, we're all different. But for me, that was such an encouraging movie, because I could see purpose in a man. And it really, really encouraged me. I can still remember it. I haven't watched it for some time now. But I still remember the feeling it brought into my heart. It stimulated in my heart a desire to understand what my purpose is. And that's the athlete. It's about, I don't know if you don't know about the movie, it's about an athlete called Eric Liddell. That, you know, I can't tell you the story, I won't spoil it for you. But the main thing that I need to touch on today is this man was actually practicing for the race for the Olympics, and it was in the 1920s. And he grew up quite humble. It was like in the in the hills. He did all his training and preparation, and he didn't have all the smart things that everybody else had. But the one thing he loved doing was running. And he was just such a natural. And even today, when I think about it, I remember in the movie, they went on and he started and he competed in the Olympics. And you know, there's a specific place in the movie that they speak to him. And if you watch it, it's the only way you will see what I'm trying to tell you today. This man, when he was running, he just had this complete relaxed look on his face. And he was just so happy. He was just good. I mean, when he did that running, it was like that is what he was supposed to do. I looked at all the other athletes and you see their faces, we've got to try and get this thing done and we've got to make it happen. But not him. He had this look on his face of, this is who I am. And that stuck with me for many, many years. Very often I realize that when we are in situations where we're forcing it, we've got to make it happen and I'm going to do this thing, we've got to start to ask ourselves, yes, that's good. We've got to put effort in. But we have to ask ourselves, when we know what purpose is, it is almost like purpose comes in behind you and do it for you. I don't know how to explain it better, but you can see it in his face. And Eric Liddell actually says in that movie, he says it, I was made to run. So my question to you today is, what were you made to do? I think if we would start to find out, and that has to do with purpose. Can you see it's actually as simple as that? So when we find out what we were made to do, that's when we move into our sweet spot. Because all of a sudden, it is not you fighting against yourself. Now, I want to quickly focus on the opposite, just to emphasize a point here. When we're doing things, that's not us. It's not who we are. We're trying to please somebody, or we're trying just to do it because we have to. Somebody said so, whatever your motive is, that can be so many things. But when we do things just because we have to, it drags us down. It makes you feel tired. It makes you feel like, oh, I'm discouraged. And it makes you feel like, I don't know if I really want to do this. Now, I'm not talking about people that can be tired after some time of doing what they're doing. We must also be wise and get some good rest and stuff like that. But in total, in most of the time, when we start to flow in our purpose, it is as if something inside of you kicks in and just do it with you. That's I am. And that's something inside of you that just kicks in with you to do it with you. Always has the other person in mind as well. That's interesting, but that is how we discern between a purpose and just a selfish desire. Because, I like doing this. That's not always purpose. Liking to do something. So you need to see the fine line of what I'm explaining to you. Liking to do something doesn't make it your purpose. Although I'm saying that when you do enjoy doing something, it is very often a sign that you are in your purpose. But purpose is always linked to my environment and to those around me. So it's not always the easy thing. Don't get me wrong. That's the difference. All of us like doing the easy things, isn't it? It's not difficult. So all of us like nice things. That's not purpose. But when we start to do something out of the extraordinary, like something out of the ordinary, what we're doing is extraordinary. And it's really good. And it impacts those around us. That's called purpose. That is called when we start to move into that purpose. You can have certain things that are just total natural. Most people have children, and some people find it difficult to raise children. Some people love raising children. But that is something that is inside of our lives. That is, if you're a father or a mother, you really become equipped to do that, because it's almost like an instinct inside of you that starts to raise the children and start to do things in a certain way. So yes, that's part of purpose. That's part of who I am. It is part of the person that I am, is my immediate environment. I have never found it difficult, although it is not easy to raise children. I always say it's not for sissies, because my boy, oh boy, they can be difficult. And they've got the way they think. I mean, I've got 2 boys. The men think different from women, you see. So that's already difficult to understand. But because I'm their mother, and because it sort of came with a package, I don't know how this whole thing works, but I'm telling you, that works for me. It was just like part of the package. I just enjoyed them. I looked at them. I didn't always try to understand. I still don't. I'll never understand them completely. And I just want to love them. I just want to bring out the best in them. I just know that it is my purpose to be a mother to them. And a mother that's not always had it easy. So it does not mean purpose does not go with easy. It's very important to understand that. But if you in your purpose, it will make something that is normally difficult easy for you. Does this make sense? So being an Olympic athlete is not easy. I don't think anybody would think it's easy. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of, hard work. I'm not saying there's no effort in it. I'm saying that when it's your purpose, something that is really difficult becomes easier. It's almost like you find it easy to do that. You feel like, oh, I can do this. It's not difficult. That's linked to purpose very often in life. It's very much linked to it. If I find, like for me, I love doing business. Now, it's never been easy. I'm always faced with challenges. And the more I like doing what I'm doing, and the bigger the organization grows, and the more businesses I'm involved with, the more people I speak to, the more I do, the more difficult it gets, in a sense that the challenges are growing. And the level of difficulty, I mean, every business that grows exponentially is going to challenge you far more than a small business. You've got to be ready for it. But because it's part of my purpose, it's just easy. For me, it's easy. So I find it that when those challenges come, there is an easy response from my side. I easily respond to it. I don't receive it as stress like a lot of people would. So I know I'm in my purpose. I am doing, for society what I have to do. But it's not about me all the time. Of course, it's about me as well. Of course, I've got to be ready for it. Of course, I am a very great part of that. But it has to do with the I am in other people. It's got to do with the environment around me. Can you see that? So when I looked at Eric Liddell, and if you ever should watch the movie, and at the end when he was competing with the other major player in the film, I can't remember his name now, but if you look at the 2 faces, it was so significant for me, because Eric did this with, I don't know, just a smile on his face, and he just did it. It was who he was. It's what he said. I was made to run. And when I looked at the other person's face and I saw the stress on his face, and he was really, really concerned he's not going to win, and he was worried, and he was like just in this bad place. I could see the difference between the 2 of them, and it was absolutely beautiful. It does not mean the other guy wasn't exceptionally good at what he was doing. But I do believe that the purpose that was inside of this man, Eric Liddell, was so great that he ran, and it was just what he was meant to do. And I'd like to ask you today, and I'd really like to challenge you, remember I said to you last week that we need to be involved with people. We need to be able to find out what is that factor inside of us. If I'm going to be now around in my environment, what stimulates me? What irritates me? What frustrates me? What don't I want? Be sensitive to those type of things, because it's directly linked to purpose. It's directly linked to that place that you want to go to. It's directly linked to the next person in your life. And talking about that, when we have a knowledge of what our purpose is, when we have that knowledge of, yes, I'm at the right spot here, then it makes life so much easier and more enjoyable. Can you see? So once again, it sounds like a paradox, because I am telling you people that know their purpose, people that are in the sweet spot of their purpose, can do great things with far less effort than somebody that is not supposed to be in that environment, and it's extremely difficult for them. You get people that really force themselves to be, say, an athlete, and that's not what they're supposed to do. And they get so frustrated. Can you see the opposite of this? How destructive it can be if you're something that you're not. If you're in a place where you never know what your purpose is, because continually you're being frustrated by what's going on. Everything that you do is difficult because you simply don't enjoy it. People may have spoken into your life and told you, no, but you don't do that. And there's something inside of you that you really enjoy doing. There's something inside of you that is calling and saying to you, I need to get out of you. I need to get out there and I need to go and do what I have to do. I've got to go and fulfill that thing in my life. Now, if you stay in a place where you're not supposed to be, you're not just robbing yourself, you're robbing society. Because when I looked at the film, I thought, this man was like, well, yeah, he was in these mountains somewhere in Scotland. But nobody knew him before that. I mean, not nobody, but I mean, he wasn't well known. So people in that little environment that he was in knew him. But his purpose took him out of that. And it placed him so well known that he is in a movie, and a classic movie for that. So there's so many people who know about him after he fulfilled his purpose. His purpose was so strong that even in the face of opposition, whatever went wrong, he finished. He became well known. Your purpose will take you out of that place where nobody knows you. Purpose, when we understand to get into that right purpose, it will bring us into places that we've never expected. If we're willing to get out of a place where we're not supposed to be, where we really just step out in that boldness to say, man, I want to find out what my purpose is. I want to find out what it is that I have to do for those around me. How am I going to positively influence my environment? You know, there are so many people sitting down not doing anything for anybody else because they're simply too afraid of criticism. I'm telling you, when you start to do things for people, you criticize almost every day. You must get so used to it. Like, really. It's just the degree of it that differs because you're doing something. Most people who don't do anything, the only thing that they can do is criticize those who do something. We have all been put on this planet with a purpose. We have all been put here to take, even if it's one other person, one by one, and we are there for them. We have to flow in that purpose inside of us because that is what's going to make the difference to the guy next to me. If I talk about it again, if I bring that back to that comfortable feeling, when I'm in my purpose, I will get into those places. I'm 100% sure that people who just stuck it out there and you just see these beautiful inventions coming. Where is it coming from? I am. Because there were some people that were adamant not to stop until that which is inside of them came out and did something that is so huge for society. Maybe it wasn't their purpose. They didn't think about that even. Maybe not. I'm not talking about their purpose. It wasn't their idea. I think it's my life, I don't think I'm going to do this. But they did, because you cannot stop purpose. So I can only encourage you, go for it. Next time that you are in a situation where somebody might want to stop you from fulfilling your purpose, don't stop. Go for it. Go for it. It's going to take you out of that place and it's going to put you into a situation where you just one day will know, I'm in the right place. And then it is the most amazing place to be. From me, until next week, it was lovely to spend some more time with you this week. Goodbye.